The Sixers get embarrassed by the Knicks. The Thursday night preview of Packers Cardinals tonight. See who we got winning. And also the World Series is tied at 1-1. We got all that and more. More to Philly in the house. Let's get it.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the More Than Philly Sports Network. It's great to be back with all of you today, 6:04 p.m. here on the East Coast, 28th of October, 2021, 3 days before Halloween on Sunday. As always, joined alongside my co-host, Gavin, Tony. Gavin, we are back, More Than Philly Sports Network, here live today on Thursday. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Zach. Listen, correct me if I'm wrong, but we did three shows this week, right?
This is show number 3, including Sunday.
We even worked overtime for you guys. No, all jokes aside, Zach, I'm good. I had a really long day today. Spent majority of my time in the city with my mom today. But all in all, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm happy to be here. One class today was canceled, so I got to sleep in. It got canceled right when I woke up. How about that? Talk about a
Isn't that the worst?
And I snoozed it. Otherwise, I would have already started drinking my coffee, which is not good. So the
Isn't
snooze
that
button
the worst
sometimes is a
feeling,
friend of yours.
Isn't that the worst feeling when you wake up and something gets canceled? I mean, we had that happen to us last year in Zoom.
Yeah, that's true as well. So, hey, look, bottom line is we're here. We're ready to talk about it all. Let's get right into it, Gavin. We're going to talk about today, kick it off with the NBA. And my, oh my, NBA comes at you fast. 82 games every single year. Considering how many days we're able to do the show each week, we have a lot of games that we're going to have to cover. Just highlighting a few of them. But let's start with the standings. Let's take a look at how everybody stands at the moment. Eastern Conference, honestly, the 3 teams at the top, no surprise, in my opinion, Bulls, Hornets, Knicks. Who would have thought that last year? 2 years ago, non-playoff teams. The Bulls have rebuilt their team in its entirety in the offseason. The Hornets were bound to have a rise with LaMelo Ball in his second year. And the Knicks picked up right where they left off last season. They look great. Julius Randle, early MVP question marks? That guy in Golden State has something to say about that, my MVP pick. But hey, both guys off to a really strong start. The Knicks with Kemba Walker, Gavin, the Knicks settling into their new culture with Tom Thibodeau there, his second and a half year with the team. Overall, if I'm a New York Knicks fan right now, if I'm Spike Lee, if I'm those guys who got really mad at James Dolan a few years ago, I'm forgetting about that right now because the Knicks are rolling. All right. And Gavin, we've been very critical of them. They were a dumpster fire when our show started 2 seasons ago. But the New York Knicks, credit where credit is due. They were the 4 seed last year. They look like they haven't missed a beat yet. They are 3-1, including a beat down to the 76ers. We'll talk about that in just a minute. And then the bottom, the Pistons, Pacers, Magic, even Boston and Brooklyn, but those are just temporary. The only 3 teams I see as bad right now are the Magic, Pacers, and Pistons. The Pacers are arguably looking at a rebuild pretty quickly. That trade last year with the James Harden involvement was not in their best interest at all. Tyrese Max, of course, could have been a life-saving, honestly, his trade, but just not a big enough role to fill for that team. Looking at the Western Conference, Warriors and Jazz, not a surprise. Mavericks bouncing back. And then, I mean, the West is kind of looking weak to start the year. It's very early in the season, so we can talk all we want about it. But the Kings at 2-2 are the 5 seed at the moment. Again, very early in the year. Portland, Denver, Memphis all at 2-2. And then these teams all below 500 right now, Gavin. Lakers, Suns, Spurs, Clippers, Rockets, Pelicans, Thunder. So every team there with the exception of the Rockets and Thunder, I'm kind of surprised to see off to that poor of a start, including LA, who blew a huge lead to the Oklahoma City Thunder yesterday, granted without LeBron James, but Russell Westbrook, first triple-double of the season, also had a quadruple-double. There's another name for it, 10 turnovers. So really not a stat line that you want to get double digits in. But bottom line is this, Golden State, Chicago, 2 teams looking like that they're going to be strong early in the year. It's important right now for Golden State to get as many wins as they can. If they can salvage some wins before Klay comes back, Gavin, I said this before the season, they're a dangerous team. And that man, number 30, my MVP pick for the season, he is a bad, bad man.
Well, Zach, real quick, can I just change my MVP pick? Because as of right now, I'm not liking what I'm seeing so far from who I picked. So I might have to piggyback and join you. Listen, Zach, this Warriors team is phenomenal. And here's why. The guys that they had, go back 2 years ago. The players that are playing now were starters 2 years ago when everybody was hurt. It's like they have experience under the belt. It might not be that much. Then last year you get your leader and Steph Curry back, and you guys going to run. You go to the play-in. Zach, we know how that ended with you losing Los Angeles and getting your heart broken by Ja Morant and the Grizzlies. But that's experience building. We don't know the status of James Wiseman. You still got Andrew Wiggins there. Draymond Green is there, and he's still doing his job. And Zach, number 30 is on a whole nother level. Zach, we thought last year was phenomenal what we saw from Stephen Curry, the GOAT. But listen, Zach, every year he continues to raise his own bar. I don't get how you do it. Zach, I want to eat what he has for breakfast. Whatever he's drinking. I think he drinks milk. I guess I got to start drinking more milk too. Zach,
that and play golf.
Say that again?
That and playing golf.
That and playing golf. Zach, his swing. I want to see who win in the 1-1. You or him. I got him by a lot.
Yeah, I got him too.
But look, all jokes aside, Zach, the Warriors are here, and they're under the radar almost, because you look at the guys, you look at Jordan Poole, you look at Andrew Wiggins, you look at others they have. You're like, well, how are they winning games? It's not because Steph Curry, it's because these guys are experienced. The year where they were bottom feeders in the West, and they got Wiseman, and then even last year too, they were building up. And if Klay Thompson comes back, and Zach, I'll say this. Defense for Klay Thompson might be different because of the fact that health and his legs and his knees. But if he can come back to 90% or 85% of his shooting self, which is still pretty deadly than anyone else in the league, this team will make a lot of noise in the West. And Zach, I'll leave it like this and I hand it to you. They won a championship with Harrison Barnes, Barbosa, Iguodala, Maurice Space, David Lee, and Andrew Bogut. Andrew Bogut. And the reason I bring those guys up is those guys are role players and bench players. I'm getting the 2016 vibe, the 2015 vibe. That's what I'm feeling right now.
Strong start too right now, 4-0 playing tonight against Memphis. When you have two guys that are 30, both well above the NBA average of 3-point shooting on a team, it makes everyone else's job easier because double teams virtually don't exist when both guys are on the floor.
Far from it.
James Wiseman comes back. Klay Thompson. I mean, they're not even at their peak yet, Gavin. I mean, is this one of those scenarios where they actually are playing better now than before they get that talent back? I don't think so. Steve Kerr. I mean, this is a veteran team. They're not done yet. We all pump the brakes, man. It's been what? Two Western Conference finals without the Warriors in it. Only two.
And that was because of injury.
They're going to be back in it this year. The Warriors ain't done yet. They're not done. Gavin, I know you're blowing some dust off your Steph Curry jersey. I know that Steph Curry cake is only inexistent in memory through photos. But the bottom line is, look, this Golden State Warriors dynasty is not over yet. They can do it. I think they can. We talk about super teams, the Lakers, Kawhi, and the Clippers. You could argue as a team. I think they would beat the Brooklyn Nets right now. The Golden State Warriors are the best team in basketball, in my opinion. Because of their experience, because of the talent, they still have to come because of the coaching. The Warriors are not done yet, and they got a brand new stinking stadium to enjoy it in. I think they're going to be a really dangerous team this year, especially when they're healthy. And Andrew Wiggins, this is a guy that has a very tough career so far. First overall pick to the king of first overall picks, the Cleveland Cavaliers, traded almost right away. Minnesota was just not the place for him. Jimmy Butler and Karl-Anthony Towns, and all three of them had their falling out. Wiggins questioned for his efforts and desires to play. I will say this, though, and it's just a quick side note. He did end up getting the vaccine again. That's a personal decision, but he chose to do it because of his teammates. That's a really strong sign of maturity from him. He's averaging about where he's been. He's actually more efficient this year than he's been. 17 points a game and only 30 minutes played. He averaged 19 last year, but he also had 4 more minutes. Field goal efficiency is about the same. 3-point is down. But Andrew Wiggins, who's been a good role player his entire career, all right, he's averaged 19.5 points a game his whole career. He's the perfect piece to not replace Kevin Durant, but looking for that Harrison Barnes-esque player, meaning the pressure is back on Curry, that this is back to Curry's team. Because it wasn't Curry's team for a couple of years. It was Durant's team, and everybody will tell you that. But at the end of the day, Golden State belongs to Steph Curry, but they have the talent to do it this year. I like this team a lot, but they have to prove it when their talent comes back. So all that aside, one more thing that I want to say on this, Gavin. I know this is one thing that you and I very strongly agree on, and that's the comparisons between Steph Curry and Damian Lillard. Steph Curry, 29 points a game, 44% field goal, 40% three-point
shooting. This is this year, right? This year, right?
Okay. Damian Lillard, 18 points a game, 17.1% three-point shooting. He'll get back to where he needs to be, but Steph Curry's been and currently and will probably always be the better point guard. And he's right there with Magic Johnson. Gavin, they win the title this year. I put him ahead of Magic Johnson. I'm not there yet. But one thing, too, about Steph Curry, underappreciated this year so far. His assists are starting to go up a little bit, 6.2. The most he's had in his career is 8.5 in the 2013. But during that core, during the 2015 to 2019 run, he's averaged around 6. And then also one more thing to add, 2 steals a game, half a block. Prime Steph Curry's back, and he's here to stay for a couple of years.
It's scary. It's scary. It's scary hours in the bank. I'm going to look into tickets because I think me and you need to figure out how to go watch this man in Philadelphia this year.
I'm all for going to San Fran if we can figure out a trip. I think it's awesome out there.
Listen, Zach, I'm always ready to get out this state of Pennsylvania. So trust me, any opportunity I get, whether and this has nothing to do with Pennsylvania or Jersey or Delaware, I'm all for it. But back as I get back to it, Zach, this guy's doing it all. When you said Kevin Durant's team, Zach, it was still Steph Curry's team, but Kevin Durant was the face. That's what I'm going to say. Kevin Durant was the face. He was the first. When you think of Golden State, you thought Kevin Durant, and then you thought Steph Curry. Now, going to your Andrew Wiggins take, Andrew Wiggins averaging 17. Zach, imagine Andrew Wiggins with 17, Klay Thompson give you 20, and then Curry gives you his 29 to 30. How you going to beat that? How you going to beat that? You can't. There's no beating that. And Zach,
you can't double team anybody. Someone's going to be open. But one more thing that's really underrated. And Gavin, you were very mad a few years ago with Draymond Green. I can't say that you and his not that he cares all that much, but not to say that your relationship with Draymond Green has been repaired. But you and a lot of Warriors fans, honestly, were very frustrated with Draymond Green. If there's no Draymond Green, there's no rings, which means that Kevin Durant doesn't even come there in the first place. Draymond Green has been and will remain the most important player on that team because he can see 2 or 3 passes ahead. All right. And he thinks way ahead. You hear him talk, whether it's about real world issues or vaccination or whatever he talks about, more specifically basketball. He knows his stuff. That is a bright young mind. He is sharp. He is efficient. He knows how to. No, he can't step up and be your scorer. He can't do that. We saw that the last 2 years. He can't be that kind of guy.
Well, he should be. Now, his best year of scoring was in the finals that he got
30-some points, which is actually crazy. But the bottom line is that Draymond Green's the most important player. He is who makes it work as he distributes the ball. You have a guy, Draymond Green, who never misses an open shooter or an open cut, which is very vital. Ben Simmons is a similar player, but we'll talk about him in a little bit. James Wiseman, who you can't leave open inside the paint. Curry and Thompson, you can't leave open. And then I guess Andrew Wiggins is your weak spot, which is not that weak. That is why that team is going to be so dangerous. You have 3 guys you can't double team, and 1 guy you can leave open. He'll take the shot every now and then. He's not going to make it, but he'll find somebody open, and that's why it's so scary. Otherwise, to Draymond Green not on the floor, that's still a great team, but they're not as good as they are.
Can I answer this? Now, it's like my frustration with Draymond Green was simple as this. The argument between Kevin Durant and him shouldn't happen in public, and how it happened. That's why I was frustrated. Now, as a fan, as a Kevin Durant fan, as a Steph Curry fan, as a Golden State Warriors fan, I hated watching it. And I thought Draymond Green didn't mean much to the team. Now, as I digress, Draymond Green is a defensive leader of that team. He sets the tone. He is the guy that always gets ejected, always gets technical, always mouthing up with the refs. It's like, you need a guy like Draymond Green on your team.
He's their Pat Bev, who knows his role a little better.
He's the Pat Bev that's way taller and knows how to, like you said, that knows how to do his
He knows his role. He does his role. He doesn't step out of boundaries.
He's not the scorer. He's just Zach. There was a stat that says Steph Curry runs about 2 to 3 miles a game because Steph is not the ball handler. It was Draymond Green. Draymond Green set Steph Curry up for threes, spot shooter. Now, Draymond Green at times will have his moments where he is having a dominant night, whether it's scoring or whether it's just defense. But Zach, there's always a defense under the ball. I have no problems with Draymond Green no more. I'll leave that summer behind with Kevin Durant left. That's it.
All right, fascinating. Russell Westbrook and the Thunder organization were pretty good to KD as well, but he still left. But nonetheless, we can talk about Kevin Durant because he has some comments that he made today that we have to talk about as well during our NBA segment. Quickly, Draymond Green, 8 points last 2 nights ago, 3 of 4 shooting, so efficient, 1 for 1 beyond the arc, 9 rebounds, 8 assists, 3 steals.
Utility.
And a block.
Utility. That's the first thing that comes to mind. Utility.
The guy, he's so important to the team and so undervalued, is so underappreciated. People need to understand that. But anyway, As we digress, let's talk about the Philadelphia 76ers. The Ben Simmons saga is quiet right now. Quiet means good. We don't know how long it's going to take for him to be out, but some breaking news coming out of Doc Rivers today. It is expected that Tyrese Max will be sent to the bench as a six-man role. Malik Milton will be expected
Hold on, wait a minute.
to make the next start for the Sixers as he is returning from injury in the offseason. Gavin, do you like this move by Doc Rivers to put Shake Milton at the one and bring Tyrese Maxey off the bench?
I do like the idea to bring Malik on because Malik is a little bit more experienced than Tyrese. But I did like the burn that Tyrese was getting. Zach, it's good. It's good for the future. But it's not what the Sixers need. Zach, Tyrese Maxey has to grow into being a point guard, a person that can be a playmaker as well, not just a scorer, not just a combo guard. Zach, he has to be able to make playmaking. I think Malik has a better playmaking skill than Tyrese by a little bit more, but not
jump shot.
Better, a little bit better. A little bit better jump shot sometimes. Really streaky, but I do like the decision.
Yeah, streaky, but again, he'll get the opportunity this year. I mean, just look at Furkan Korkmaz, for God's sakes. I've been
really adamant against him too.
His growth and development the last few years has been great. Perhaps Shake Milton took a step in the right direction as well. Again, this team has to play with the assumption that Ben Simmons is not going to return. And frankly, Gavin, if I'm the Sixers, I'm pressing the panic button early this year because if Ben's going to be back, all right, problem solved, kind of. But at the moment, he's not back and he's not going to fix your problems. I mean, listen. We knew what this year was going to be. We knew it was going to be hard defensively, facilitatingly, just getting open space. We knew that was going to be difficult. As a matter of fact, Joel Embiid is 0-4 in his career without Ben Simmons on the floor as his partner in the playoffs. Simmons is 1-1. Small sample sizes for both of them, but it's just a point to bring up. With that being said, if you take a look back at the Sixers' first 4 games of the year, 3 of them were winnable. They won 2 of them. And they should have won that Brooklyn Nets game if they had Ben Simmons there winning that game, or if coaching was a little bit better in that game. They win, in my opinion. But we have to talk about the other game that happened in New York. First of all, next 4 games, Detroit, Atlanta, Portland, and Chicago all at home. So a game in there that is winnable. The other 3 are going to be tough. The Sixers have to really get out there.
2 games are winnable.
What second are you giving them?
I'm giving them Portland.
I will see. Definitely a slow start to the year for Damian Lillard. But nonetheless, the Sixers looked good against the Knicks in the first quarter. 26-23, end of the first quarter scoring. But second quarter, man, oh man, 40 points for the Knicks. Sixers only had 16. The Sixers won 3 out of 4 quarters in this game. You can kind of block out the last one since it was mostly bench guys. But it wasn't a blowout. It was ugly for the majority of the game. And, I mean, there's not much to look at in this game. Nothing in the stat line that's overwhelming. Tobias Harris, interesting. 9 rebounds, 9 assists, 23 points. Danny Green had 12, which is good. Embiid only 14 in 30 minutes. Curry only had 4. He cooled down. Tyrese Maxey only 7. Furkan 9. So, I mean, right now, Gavin, Joel Embiid, if we take a look at the defending runner-up of MVP, he's averaging 20 points a game. That is about 9 points less than last year so far. And he apparently has more spacing to work with this year. But, Gavin, you brought up a point before the show that he's up top of the key a lot more, facilitating a little more. He's running around more. Is his job harder without Ben Simmons, or at the very least a point guard that can facilitate on the floor?
Well, Zach, I agree. I think so because with another guy like Ben Simmons that's equally as tall as you, equally as skilled as you, when he wants to be, Zach, when he wants to turn it on and play like he can, it makes Joel Embiid's job really easier for him to just do what he does best, which is dominate in the pass game, or excuse me, not in the pass game, in the post. Now Joel Embiid has to set the offense up, has to try to work his way around to get an open shot, and now it's easier for teams to key in on him and double team him. But Zach, Ben Simmons, as much as we like to talk about Ben Simmons offensively, but this is the stuff that Ben Simmons hides. This is the stuff that he covers up. Ben Simmons is able to facilitate, get open spaces for players, give Joel Embiid a chance to actually dominate in the post. And I know they crowded each other down low. But just watching the New York Knicks game, they were able to get to Joel Embiid quick and fast, and they were able to frustrate the big man. It's like he's doing – I don't want to say he's doing too much, but he's doing too much. It's like he's trying to win the game without winning the game, and he's also trying to get his teammates better. I mean, he's like the other ball handlers on the team or on the court at the time is Seth Curry, which Zach, he's not his brother, no disrespect when it comes to playmaking. And it was also Tyrese Maxey too, which is, like I said, Zach, it's not – he has to grow into that more. So they don't have a true point guard right now. Right now, it feels like isolation setup. where one has the ball trying to direct the offense and can't do it.
And the Sixers don't have time for this. They don't have time to let a guy develop. They're trying to win now. So Tyrese Max is a nice piece for down the road, but they got to win now. So De'Aaron Fox is going to be a name that I'm going to bring up a lot. I'm all for bringing him in my opinion. This team just needs a little bit more. I don't know what they're going to get. What else they can do.
I'm holding out still.
You're going to hold out? I mean, I think if we can get De'Aaron Fox and some picks right now and possibly another player in there, I'd be willing to pull the trigger because this team looks close, but they're not good enough. They're really not. Without Ben Simmons, they lose a lot. And I think people are going to realize that maybe that's all he wants to be understood. But at the same time, the criticism is still there. He needs to get better every year. He has to work on his talents. He can't just rely on what he currently has as a skill set. It's mixed messaging. I really know it is, but at the end of the day, I would defend him when it comes to that. But that's kind of the only thing I can defend him on.
Can I say this, Zach?
Yeah.
Ben Simmons was a winner 2 nights ago.
His point was made, you're saying.
Say that again?
His point was made.
His point was made that you guys need me.
I mean, I don't think anybody's arguing that, but I think
but it was like clear.
You can't lose an all-star.
That's what's clear.
You can't lose an all-star and expect to be able to be the same. And it's not even a matter of losing. You're not getting anything right now for Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons has value. You can trade him right now for something that you might feel is low value. In Daryl Morey's case, he feels that it's way too low value. If they replaced him with a competent point guard or top 15, you can even get close to top 10 point guard material, then they'll start winning games and start doing a little more efficient. De'Aaron Fox and Joel Embiid pick and roll, I'm a fan of it. I really would be a fan.
De'Aaron Fox can finish.
He's fast. He's fast. So I'm putting that's my name right now. Again, we're all holding out for Damian Lillard. I don't know why he wants to stay in Portland. They're not doing anything to continue to improve and get better. The head coaching change is about it. And credit Chauncey Billups. He has work to do there, but that team is not as good as people think it is. And if a team stays the same going into next year, if they quote unquote run it back, you actually get worse because the teams around you are getting better. And with that being said, just trying to see if there's any other NBA news that we are missing out on. There's nothing that I see right now.
The Lakers lose another game.
Yes, 2 more things. So number one, Kevin Durant was asked today about Kyrie Irving. He said that we do miss Kyrie. Gavin, thoughts on that?
You can see it, Zach. You can see they miss Kyrie. The offense doesn't look the same, and James Harden needs to adapt his game to the new rules. Zach, his old way of playing the game is not working. Zach, he's only been to the free throw line. Was it five times already?
5 times a game.
5 times a game. To a guy that's used to going almost 10, 11 times a game. I think this team does miss Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving is once again adds like another nuclear scorer that can give you 30, that can average 30 points a night. Box office guy. They do miss him. Kyrie, end your holdout, man. Come on, just please, just for the game's sake. I'm not touching on what's keeping them out, but just for the game's sake, for a person like me who loves watching basketball, just come on, end the holdout, figure out what's going on, and come back because your team needs you. Your team needs you. Zach, the whole reason why Kevin Durant is in Brooklyn is because of him. The reason why James Harden is there because of him. So the only one that's not there is him himself. Zach, once Kyrie comes back, that offense will start booming. It's going to take a little bit because Kyrie may or may not be in shape. But outside of that, Zach, what Kevin Durant said is not wrong. I don't have a problem with what he said.
I will say just fascinating all around. James Harden, as Gavin, you mentioned, 14 points. 14, 15, 20, 20. He averages 16.6 points a game. Shooting 33 in the third three-point range, which is average. It's below his average. And he's shooting 35.9% from the field. That is significantly down, 12 points lower than it was last year. His assists this year at 8 a game, which is pretty decent, but it's below his average as well, especially for how he did last year. And Gavin, he's averaging 16.6 points a game. That is over half of the points less than what he averaged during his time in Houston, which was 36 and 34, respectively. James Harden's cleaning it up. Kevin Durant's doing all he can, but James Harden has some work to do.
Zach, can I just say this, and maybe you might agree with me when I say it. The new way how the game is being called, the no more jumping into people, it's a little bit more enjoyable to watch. I feel like the softness of the game is kind of gone away just a little bit.
And Trae Young, the player that everybody thought would see a significant drop, is still averaging 31 points a game. So James Harden, if Trae Young can do it.
John Collins is another name we need to really watch out for. Him and Miles Bridges.
Yeah, we'll see. Hey, bottom line with that one, Nets in trouble. Another team, another favorite for the NBA Finals, the Los Angeles Lakers. Granted, without LeBron James in the lineup for the second straight game,
wasn't doing that when he was
they
there.
did lose to arguably the team that will be the worst in the NBA this year, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Russell Westbrook, 35, 14, 13, and 14 rebounds, 13 assists, and 20 points in 35 minutes played. Anthony Davis, 30 points, 8 boards, 2 assists. Carmelo Anthony missing the go-ahead 3, but that's not the storyline. The storyline is this. They were up. They scored 41 points in the first quarter to Oklahoma City's 19. They were up 29 points. Dead in the water. And then they let the Oklahoma City Thunder and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander come back in the game. 41-23 was the outscore in the third quarter and 26-20 in the fourth. That's
You're the Lakers fan. I'm gonna let you go first. Go ahead.
It's horrible. I think it's horrible. You're without the best player of all time.
Who?
It's a significant drop off.
Excuse me. Okay.
With that being said, they are a more talented team than the Thunder, but LeBron will come back and everything will be okay.
No, Zach. I think it's get worse. It's like there are 5 games into the season. Let's go over. LeBron's already low managing. You have Anthony Davis and Dwight Howard get into an argument, and Russell Westbrook can't play with LeBron James. And Russell Westbrook got ejected over. Zach, I mean, when you lose a 26-point lead, I'm not gonna lie to you. I would do the same thing. I would dunk on you guys too because you guys are soft. Listen.
Yeah, I think that Russell Westbrook's comments were extremely out of place there. I don't see a problem with dunking.
What was his comments on word for word? You got him?
Like I don't mess with that kind of stuff or something like that. A couple profanity words in there. Bottom line is this: it's the Los Angeles Lakers. If you can gloat on the Lakers, you're going to take advantage of it.
I don't. Here's the thing too, Zach. Looking at the game last night, I don't know if it's because that. I mean, just look at the season as a whole. The Lakers would have lost to the Grizzlies if it wasn't for Ja Morant's miss free throw. Because remember, Zach, the Grizzlies had all the momentum, and which would have carried into overtime. And you go back to last night, where Oklahoma, when they blew a 26-point lead, and then you go back to it took them to overtime to the Spurs to beat them. So I'm gonna go on the limb, ladies and gentlemen.
First game was also without LeBron.
That wouldn't matter if he was there or not. Zach, trust me, I got videotapes of him just not being any productive. But Zach, I have a hot take, extremely hot take. Take it how you want. The Lakers are going to be 5th at best this year in the West.
Golden State's my team right now. I'll leave it at that. That's about all I got on this category. I never liked the Russell Westbrook, LeBron James. I think that
they can't play together. They do the same thing.
They should have got Kemba Walker. Honestly, that mid-range game is what they're missing. I would have liked to see Kemba Walker. I don't like the Russell Westbrook deal at all.
That would be nice.
I was not a fan of it from the jump. Not a fan of it now. You got 3 guys that clog up the paint, and you're seeing it. Westbrook is excelling without LeBron on the floor. You might want to send Westbrook to the bench and let him run that unit and bring Carmelo in and put LeBron back at point. That's just a suggestion I have. But anyway, we'll continue to break that down next week. As we know, every single time we come back on, a lot of NBA games being played. Real quick, before we do move on to the NFL and the MLB, the Sixers play in a half hour against Detroit, and then they play the Hawks, and then they play the Trailblazers. I think they come with all 3 of those games. I think the Shake Milton move is going to really help them. I think they're going to be really motivated against the Atlanta Hawks. And I think that as long as the game doesn't catch fire, they'll knock down the Trailblazers. They tend to have their number, especially at home. All 3 games at home, by the way.
They should be first. They should be first in the East next time we hop on here is what you're trying to say.
Well, that would bring them to 5.
That would bring them first. That would bring them top 5.
5-2, which could be enough, but there still are 6 teams in the league, one of which they will play the Hawks. So there's 5 teams: the Wizards, the Heat, the Knicks, the Hornets, and the Bulls. All 5 teams would have to drop at least 1 or 2 games for them to get back in that position.
I would love for Ben Simmons, Zach, if he would just come play versus the Atlanta Hawks and drop 40 points. Yeah, I know that's wishful thinking, but that's just me.
Yeah, and the Sixers have yet to win a game in the Eastern Conference. Both wins have been against the Western Conference, Oklahoma City Thunder and the New Orleans Pelicans. 2 teams not expected to be good this year. Nonetheless, coming up after this, if the Eagles lose to the 0-7 Lions, I'll be crying like Dan Campbell was. But I have a feeling they're going to lose that game in another slow, painful way.
Will there be a post game? Will there be a post game? Are you crying? Will that happen?
It's Halloween. I'm resting. I might be putting my ghost face on. I'll be ghosting myself in the show. Anyway, between that, Zach Ertz tonight against the Green Bay Packers, and of course the game of the week, arguably the game of the week, Cowboys and Vikings on Sunday Night Football. Stay tuned. Would you like to know how you can support the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show? If so, head down to the comments on our YouTube channel. You will see 2 links there. The first is our Teespring, where you can see a wide variety of apparel products, including our signature product, the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show sweatshirts, offered in a variety of different colors, including gray, navy blue, and more. Finally, we have our Patreon page, where you can become a monthly donation member. 10% of all donations go towards an organization of our viewers' choice. We hope that you enjoyed today's episode, and if you can't donate, that's okay, because you can always share this. All right, let's talk about it. Thursday Night Football. It is Zach Ertz and the Arizona Cardinals. They are perfect on the season at 7-0. Green Bay Packers on a 6-game winning streak. Their only loss was that rare poor occurrence from Aaron Rodgers and the team against a New Orleans Saints team who was turning out to be pretty bad. So, Gavin, tonight, Packers, Cardinals, no Devontae Adams. Allen Lazard expected to play. No Marquez Valdez-Scantling. No players out on the COVID protocols. Who are you taking tonight?
Zach, this game had potential, and then you hear no Devontae Adams, which means a lot. Which apparently they are better without Devontae Adams than with Devontae Adams. But Zach, that doesn't
without him.
But I'll say this. I'm going with the Red Hot Cardinals, even though they just lost J.J. Watt. Zach, the offense of Arizona has been clicking on all cylinders, whether it's a run game, whether it's a pass game, whether it's DeAndre Hopkins proving that he should be the number 1 wide receiver, whether it's the new addition of Zach Ertz helping out the injured Max Williams. I mean, look, Kyler Murray is playing at an MVP level, and it's a shame that no one's talking about it. But you have to give credit where credit is due, and he's saying also in the Zach, that defense of Arizona, I mean, Buda Baker, Isaiah Simmons, J.J. Watt before he went down, Chandler Jones with 5 sacks in the start the season off. It doesn't get any better than that. Zach, Green Bay, without their starting offensive line, they're still missing a few pieces with no Devontae Adams. I'm not saying it's going to be a bloodbath, it's going to be ugly, and it's not worth turning on the TV. But Zach, it's not going to be close. I'm going 31-14 Cardinals.
It's a battle for the top spot, and the Packers have had a lot of interesting storylines in the offseason. And one of them is their last dance-esque kind of feeling. But the last few weeks have been pretty sloppy for them. They're 6-1. Aaron Rodgers, who I've heavily criticized, is doing Aaron Rodgers things. All right, if you take a look at some of his stats right now, how his season looks. Right now, he's got 15 touchdowns to 3 interceptions and a 108 passer rating. If you take away that first week alone, he's got 15 touchdowns, 1 interception, and a passer rating over 115. I mean, that one bad game brings him down, and he already statistically still looks better. Nonetheless, without Devontae Adams tonight, without a couple key starters, they're going to lose this game. It's going to be close. Randall Cobb's going to have a good night. A couple other guys are going to have to show up and do their job. Rodgers will not be the reason they lose tonight. But like you said, Gavin, that Cardinals team is too good, too developed, too much momentum going their way. This isn't a trap game for them. If they lose to like the Niners on a Sunday, that's the kind of feeling that would snap this. It wouldn't be a primetime game like this. Like you said, Kyler Murray and the bunch have way too many pieces around them. But again, they had to come back against the Lions week 2. They had to come back against the Niners week 3. Steelers game was a pretty comfortable win. The kicking was an issue. I get it. But they only won by 3 to the Cincinnati Bengals. Which, look, Bengals are a good team. But you should be winning by more than 3. They beat the Bears by 10. Washington by 14. There's no blowout games. They're comfortable wins. But this is their first real test since they played New Orleans, who has since become a poor team. I am going to go with Arizona tonight. I think it's going to be closer. I'll go 24-28 and perhaps a late score extending drive for Kyler Murray and the bunch.
Well, it's like you're talking about a Packers team that You're right, Zach. Has looked sloppy, but the defense is just atrocious. We talk about how bad Kansas City defense is, but this defense is arguably worse. It's just not giving up as many points as Kansas City does. When you got a defense that is basically anchored by Zadarius Smith, Preston Smith, I still don't know where Jalen Smith is. I haven't seen him, Zach, and they should have got Stephon Gilmore if they could. That would have helped out big time. Jair Alexander, I think, is battling injuries, and the rookie is not coming to his shoes yet. And the secondary and the safeties they're playing pretty mediocre. But outside that, you're not going to be able to beat teams like Arizona, like a Tennessee, if your defense is playing like this. You can't have a defense that is a bend, oh, and then we'll break mentality. I get your offense, and it's like the offense has nothing really to rave about either. It's really Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Jones, and Devontae Adams. Outside of that, who else is there? I mean, let's call it how it really is. Who else is outside of that? Those three guys on offense can do something for the Green Bay Packers. Nobody. And Zach, if it wasn't for the kicker of Cincinnati, as I like to call it, the kicker fest, where neither one could hit a field goal to save their life. Zach, it was like if you had $1 million on the line and you need one to make it, they wouldn't have done it, even from 10 yards out. I think they lose that game to Cincinnati. I think they lose that game. If all the field goals go in for the Bengals, they're really not 6-1. They're 5-2 in my eyes. Washington would have been a closer game if they don't rob Taylor Heineke of a touchdown. Zach, what I'm trying to say is that Green Bay Packers, Aaron Rodgers, kind of looks average this year. He's doing Aaron Rodgers things, but doesn't have the same ring to it.
It doesn't. It really doesn't. His stats have been great. He's looked pretty good, but a lot of storylines covering up some of those greatness. And again, they're playing a team that's much better than them on paper, in my opinion. So that's Thursday Night Football. We will recap it next week during our weekly Around the NFL. But on our today section of Around the NFL, we are going to break down each game, predictions, maybe make a bold pick for some of them, and more. Let's start with it. 1 o'clock on Sunday, Panthers, Falcons. Give me the Falcons. They've been red hot. Panthers, ice cold. Sam Darnold's regressing as well.
I'm going with the Falcons, Zach. Arthur Smith's offense looks phenomenal, and the defense is doing decently. But Kyle Pitts will continue to show his dominance.
All right, next game, Titans-Colts. It's going to be a great game. A lot of running, a lot of heavy running. Gavin, I think you know what I'm doing on this one. Give me the Colts. Give me Carson Wentz and the crew. They're going to get the win and make a statement and start making some noise to get back to 500.
Zach, they're getting healthier. I don't disagree with you, but this week I will give me the King, man. Give me King Henry in that offense. They're looking great. They're on their stride, and as long as everybody stays healthy, Julio, AJ, Derrick Henry, you're not stopping that offense.
Dolphins, Bills. Give me the Bills. Dolphins are probably going to end up tanking this year and take Deshaun Watson next year. That's a storyline that's going to continue to be. If I'm I'm pretty mad. I want to have a good week, but the Bills always play the Dolphins pretty easy.
So 3 weeks ago, Zach, it was in Miami, and the Bills literally handed the rear ends to the Dolphins to them. Zach, it's going to be the same thing again. I got Bills by a heavy margin.
Next game, Bengals, Jets. Bengals by 1 million.
It's not even close. I'm not even going to speak on that.
Steelers, Browns. Browns starting to get some pieces back healthy. We saw how they did last week with some of their backups and against a pretty decent defense in the Denver Broncos. So I'm going to take the Cleveland Browns this week in Cleveland.
Zach, I'm taking Cleveland Browns. And can y'all please leave Mike Tomlin alone with this whole USC and other stuff? He doesn't want to go. But I got Browns this week.
Next game, Eagles, Lions. Give me Detroit. They're better coached. They're fighting harder. They don't really have much more better talent, but their talent's being utilized better. I hope it's a close game. I hope the Eagles look better. Nick Sirianni claims that they're doing a lot of great things. They're fertilizing the soil. They're watering this team. But for the Eagles to win, they need to utilize their wide receivers. And Gavin, I'm going to say it again. They need to run the ball. But above all of that, the talented veteran defense needs to act like it. But DeAndre Swift is going for 120 yards and one breakout run. Eagles defense can't stop a nosebleed.
Zach, look, they're watering the soil.
The fertilizing.
Look, Zach, I don't care. He could put any rhymes together that makes him seem smart that he knows he's talking about. I don't believe anything he says, but just because I'm going to pick Eagles on this one. But if Detroit wins, we are running a post game. I just want to see your reaction. I'm in for your reaction.
I will sit here and say one thing. First overall pick.
No. Because I know you. You will be
First
pissed
overall
off,
pick.
and it'll be
First
great.
overall
It'll be great. That's great ratings.
First overall pick.
That's great ratings. You can keep saying, see, but here's the thing.
pick.
You say that now until Sunday gets here. And then what do you say on Sunday? When we have our pregame talk, what do you say Sunday?
First overall pick.
No, you don't say that. You say the Eagles need to win this, that, and the third. And then during the week when we come on, then you say, first overall pick. Zach, that doesn't it matters now, but Sunday, 1:00, Sunday afternoon, when I'm in my basement and you are respectively in your basement watching the game, we are not thinking about the first overall pick. We're thinking about a damn win. That's what we're thinking about. But ladies and gentlemen, I got Eagles this weekend. But fire Nick Sirianni. And if Zach,
too early for that, but
no, it's not too early for that. Zach, just like Jalen Hurts said, I'm just like take a dump and flush. I want to flush Nick Sirianni out the city and away from this team. Just contaminating everything. Him and Howard Roseman got to go.
Well, we know Howard. We know he's the root of all evil. But yeah, I hope they win. They need to show some fight. If they win, there's 3-5. There's still some salvageability there. There are some games on this schedule they can win. And I'm still so shocked at how poor they played against Vegas. Someone's got to light a fire on them. They got to start getting up. They got to start proving it. Jalen Hurts has to show something that he's not just a one-read quarterback.
Oh, no, that's not going to happen. You know he's going to look at somebody and run away. But
we need something. I hope for improvement this week. I expect it. I like Jalen Hurts, but it's going to be a tough one. All right, next game on our list, Rams-Texans. Give me LA. Comfortable win for them. Not a blowout. I think that the Texans have been in most of their games, but
give me listen, Zach, give me LA by a large margin, and I'm going 2 defensive touchdowns.
I think they might get one. Jalen Ramsey pick 6 possibly underway. Next game, 49ers-Bears. San Fran's the better team. Not by much, but give me San Fran. They are.
Listen, Sir Matt Nagy, you get Justin Fields killed for a second straight week. Zach, first, not one. This will be the third time he gets killed, but a second straight week. I will go to Chicago myself and protest his job for him. He needs to be fired. Zach, I'm going with the Bears this week. I just want Justin Fields to do well. I want Matt Nagy to not do so well. But I really don't like Jimmy Garoppolo. I think he's an average quarterback. So I'm going with the Bears.
I think Garoppolo's a good system quarterback, and they just haven't been able to put it all together.
Average.
So the next game, Patriots-Chargers. Why this one is significant? The Patriots ran over the Chargers last year. I think the Chargers get their revenge this year on the Patriots. But this is going to be a game to watch. It could be a good shootout. Chargers coming off a tough loss to Baltimore. Sour taste going into the bye. I expect them to bounce back this week. Brandon Staley at the helm.
So it's not going to be a shootout. It's going to be one. It's going to be lopsided. I easily got the Chargers winning this one. You got embarrassed going into the bye. Everybody talking about how you guys might not be the team to beat. Justin Herbert hype kind of died down. Justin Herbert's going to come out and light it up through the air, and Mac Jones will go back to being mediocre.
Nah, Mac Jones is still my pick for Rookie of the Year.
Over Jamar Chase.
Jamar Chase is right now, I take that back, but best rookie quarterback, and in my opinion, that's not even close.
That's not even fair. That's first of all, that's not fair. You got Urban Meyer and his tragic self with Trevor Lawrence. You got Zach Wilson can't stand up for more than 5 minutes without getting hit, and then you got Justin Fields and that idiot Matt Nagy. But you want to pick Matt? Never mind. I see why. I'm not even going to touch on Trey Lance because they can't figure out who they want. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that's a unique situation. Right. All right, next game, Jaguars Seahawks. I'm going to say it. We wouldn't have thought it before, but considering the circumstances, Jacksonville gets their second win this week.
I'm going with Jacksonville. Zach, Geno Smith is not the answer. Wait for Russell Wilson.
Buccaneers Saints. Give me the Bucs. It's in New Orleans. It's going to be closer than we think, but the Buccaneers are still the way better team.
Bucks easily. Zach, they're clicking on all cylinders. Tom Brady is on a whole nother level this year. What is it, 44?
44 years old.
44, 45? I don't know. He's like 80. So
he's been in his 40s for a couple seasons. He has 2 rings. So in that time, which is absolutely incredible. Washington and Denver. I'll take Washington. It's going to be a close, ugly. It's not going to be a fun game to watch, but
I'm going Denver. There's no way. There's no way Taylor Heineke wins this game. Denver's defense should be able to contain, and Teddy Bridgewater, you gotta be good at some point.
I don't know. I really do like I really am a fan of Taylor Heineke. I think he shows a lot of promise.
Well, of course.
I liked him. Look, listen. Last year, in that Bucks game, he showed a lot of fight. I thought he played pretty damn well for them, in my opinion. But
I don't disagree. But at some point, you're going to have.
Denver's got nothing going for them, Gavin. I can't.
I know.
I can't name a single thing Denver's done.
What happened to your dark horse? What happened to Drew Lock? What happened to him? He got locked up, right?
2 years ago. That was 2 years ago.
That was 2 years ago. Zach, I'm rolling with Denver this weekend. They can't embarrass me. They can't ruin my spread for a second straight week.
All right, Sunday night football game of the week. Dak Prescott, unknown right now if he is going to start, but he will be if he does against the Minnesota Vikings. I will take. They go back and forth, these two teams, in this series every year. But I'll take Dallas in this one.
How is this game, first of all? Zach, how is this game of the week?
I mean, the rest of the matchups are really not that good.
The only good matchup is, Zach, is something that you protest every week is Thursday Night Football, which is actually supposed to be pretty good this week.
Pretty decent. I like this one.
Zach, I'm going with the Dallas Cowboys easily. Kirk Cousins is not that guy, and he just plays cautiously. Free Justin Jefferson, send it to Cincinnati. But Trayvon Diggs, Zach, defensive player of the year continues. I might give him a long shot at MVP. He's going to get another pick six this weekend.
Let's see. Yes, definitely, in my opinion, the front runner for that award. He's been great.
If he gets consistent.
I mean, this is the one thing I say all the time. The biggest jump in a player is between year 1 and year 2. Carson Wentz, we saw it. Justin Jefferson, I'm sure we're going to continue to see it. Justin Herbert, we see it in. Dak Prescott, we saw it in even. Joe Burrow, yes, definitely. So that's their biggest.
Jackson, all those guys.
That's their biggest jump in their coming out party, their breakthrough. So, yeah, we'll see how it continues. And finally, the last game of the week. Giants and Chiefs. Gavin, stop me from choosing the Giants. I'm kidding. I won't. The Giants are still so dysfunctional. The Chiefs are still going to win this game, even with all the issues that they've had going on.
I'm going Giants.
Okay?
I'm going Giants. Will I regret it? Most likely. But, Zach, the Chiefs look awful. Zach, the things that Patrick Mahomes used to do, the things that he used to throw and we'd be like, ooh, that's cool. That's top 10. You can't do that no more. You've been figured out. The Bucs exposed you. Start taking checkdowns. Start being the I won't say average quarterback because he's not average, but you're hurting your team not doing the basic thing. I'm going with the Giants this week. Don't let me down, Big Blue.
Yeah, down year for Mahomes. 18 touchdowns, 9 picks, which is a 2-to-1 ratio, which is slightly below average. 98 passer rating, which is fine, but hasn't recorded a passer rating above 100 since he played the Eagles. 90 against the Bills. 70 against the Bills, 90 against Washington, and 62 against Tennessee. In the last
Zach, I would say this.
Last 3 weeks alone, he's thrown 4 touchdowns to 5 interceptions.
Zach, due to Zach Wilson being hurt, if Patrick Mahomes throws another interception, he would be a league leader in interceptions. Interception leader.
That's not a good view for Mahomes and friends. So, with that being said, that wraps up our picks for the week in the National Football League. Coming up after this, what a start to the series for Atlanta. But Charlie Morton had 14 pitches, 2 strikeouts on a broken leg. Game 2, different story. All tied up at 1, going to Atlanta tomorrow night. Who will win these games coming up and who will win the World Series? Stay tuned. We are now offering a new product on our Teespring. Wear a mask in public. We are now supporting a custom-designed mask with our logo on it. Purchase it today, and 10% goes to a foundation of our viewers' choice. It offers a full nose and mouth coverage, single-sided print, includes 2 2-inch elastic ear loops, non-medical grade product, and finally, $1 from every mask sale is donated to a nonprofit to feed children in need. Enjoy today's episode. Welcome back here on the More Than Philly Sports Network. Gavin, Tony, Zach Starr. We're getting close to the bottom of the 6 o'clock hour. Gavin, let's talk about it. Charlie Morton, game 1, 3 innings, comes out with an injury, played pretty well. But let's talk about that offense for a minute. Great game for them as a whole. 1/3 of their lineup was acquired at the trade deadline. I mean, Rosario's been on an insane level. Jock Peterson, Adam Duvall. That's only 3 of them. This is another acquisition. They had a couple other moves they made.
Eddie Rosario, some in the bullpen.
I mean, yeah, this is a phenomenal story from the front office down. And they're missing their best player. So great game 1 win for them. Bottom line is that very impressive. But game 2, different story. Astros ran the show. Jose Altuve now in second place of all time in playoff home runs. I've been very adamant of my support for the Astros this year. We got a little feisty on Tuesday about it. I want to see them prove the league wrong. They can win a World Series without cheating. More importantly, I want them to prove it to themselves. Let's see a real ring. This will be a real ring if they win it all.
Trust saying it 10 times its space.
Real ring. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, 2017 is an asterisk, very much so. They cheated. They should have that revoked. Honestly, if I'm Major League Baseball, I would have taken that trophy away from them, taking the ring. I mean, you can't take the rings back, but bottom line is they should have been punished more than they were. I get that. Bottom line is they're where they are today. It's not easy to win in baseball. 162 games, a lot of baseball, a lot of injuries can happen, a lot of factors. Majority of this team isn't even from that team, and the ones that are, some of them cheated, some of them really didn't. Jose Altuve, one of those names who really didn't. If you look into the research, the bottom line is that nobody wants them to win, but if they do win, they just show that they were good and they never needed to cheat, which makes them look bad, honestly. If they felt a need to cheat during it, it's a very unpopular opinion for me, but as a Phillies fan, I just can't fathom the idea that the Braves win the World Series. I'm sorry.
This is where we differ. First of all, I love me some Dusty Baker. Zach, I'll come out and say it again. I love Dusty Baker. Everything he brings to the game. He's great for baseball, right? Great for baseball. We agree there. But I can't. It's just hard because if the Astros win this year, no one will believe it's real because of what happened.
Which doesn't make sense because you would think they're under more surveillance.
Zach, hold on. Once a cheater, always a cheater, right? It's just never going to leave that mindset. I know it's hard to say that. Now, you talked about a video about Jose Altuve at the document. I'm still waiting to see that so I can make my own personal opinion. My thoughts on Altuve said the same. You won MVP. Your numbers dropped significantly after all the cheating stuff came out. In that 60-game season, you struggled miserably, especially defensively as well. Show it. Now, from Atlanta's side, Zach,
trash cans don't help defense, but continue.
I mean, he was trash at defense, so technically trash cans do play defense at the same time. Look, talk about Atlanta. If I were to tell you that there are two power hitters, two guys that bring a lot of home runs to the team, Ronald Acuna Jr., who early in the year was my NL MVP pick.
He looked like it.
Were to go down with injury, and then Marcell Ozuna would leave the lineup due to legal issues. Zach, if I would tell you that those two were gone, and the replacements to that would be Jock Peterson, Eddie Rizal, and Jorge Soler, and Adam Duvall, would you still think this team would be in the World Series today?
Thinking of it now, yes, those are good role players, good pitch, but no. Back then, I would have said it's not enough to.
Phillies, This is a great learning. This is a great learning experience for this team right here. Go all in when you have a chance. Zach, I said it on Tuesday, and I'll say it again. This team went all in, right, Zach? This team went all in when the Phillies, when the Phillies were in first place, the Mets were in second place, and the Braves were in third. This team went all in with hopes of being where they are today at the end. The general manager said, "Let's go for it." Zach, what did they do? They went all in.
They went for it.
Now, this team was in first place and decided to do little to nothing. Freddie Galvis is your answer of reloading. Freddie Galvis. Who else did he bring? Kyle Anderson. He was nice. Zach, he was nice. He wasn't spectacular. He was nice.
Had a home run.
Say that again.
He had a home run.
Ooh, one home run to the many home runs that they had. Zach, what I'm trying to say is this. Go all in when you think it's worth it. This team was in first place and didn't go all in. That team was in third place and they went all in. Not only did they jump the Phillies, they jumped the Mets too, which I guess that's not really much saying the Mets had a downward spiral.
Yeah, Mets were
but what I'm trying to say is go all in when you have the chance. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what baseball really is. It's not about sitting there trying to develop in pieces and play well together. I mean, yeah, that's nice and all, but at some point you have to add on.
Well, yeah, after a decade of trying to develop guys, you're still where you were.
Exactly. Go all in. That's what I'm trying to say. Who cares? Your farm system sucks. Scott Kingery has got. I mean, let's be realistic.
He's not even in their system anymore. He's gone. He's done.
Oh, he's gone.
He is gone.
And a couple of years ago, Zach, when Mookie Betts was up for deal, right? You could have traded him and Pavetta away for Mookie Betts straight up. and you didn't do it. You now it's like I know this. I know this is a sensitive subject or person. You could have went after Trevor Bauer this past summer, and I know all the stuff that he brings
You could
around
have
him.
went after Trevor Bauer. You could have went after Garrett Cole 2 years
I
ago.
don't want Garrett Cole. I wouldn't want Garrett Cole.
I mean, he was coming up with
It's
Justin Verlander. There were a lot of. I mean, this past offseason, Gavin, Yu Darvish was available. Blake Snell was available. Charlie Morton was available.
Noah Arenado was available. Hitters Lindor. And guess what? Guess what you had?
Javi Baez at the deadline was available.
And
I mean, you're telling me of the fire sale the Cubs had, the Phillies didn't have a single player they wanted from that team.
Braves, Rizzo, Craig Kimbrell, who actually went down, got worse.
I mean, but you can't anticipate that. You can't anticipate that.
You can't. You're right. You can't anticipate that. But Zach, what I'm trying to say is this: imagine being in first place, right? And teams are selling their souls away, and you end up with Freddie Galvis. I mean, come on, dude, that's hysterical to me. You end up with Freddie Galvis. You stop.
They had a closer who imploded when he got here. A starter who I like a lot. I'm a big fan of Kyle Gibson. I really am. But it wasn't. They made moves for the future, maybe, but they didn't make a move to win this year, and that was the sense of urgency they needed. Because the Mets are only going to get better. Honestly, the Braves are only going to get better. The Nationals are now going to start moving on the way up. Honestly, the Marlins are always going to be there. They're always going to be giving you trouble. Always.
I don't see. I really don't see Max Scherzer staying in LA after this loss. If you don't put in an offer for Max Scherzer after he destroyed you time in and time out, show us that you want to win, man.
At 38 years old, you want to take that risk?
Better than what we have sometimes. It's not. I mean, add on to it, right? Add on to it. And plus, it's like baseball age doesn't really matter. If you're not a hitter.
Well, yeah, I mean, what's his name this year? Adam Wainwright was 41 years old, and he looked as good as always.
Adam Wainwright actually looked really effective. He looked better than he did last year.
That he did. But definitely, look, bottom line is we got next few games. By the time we come back on, I expect to have 3 games have been played. I expect the Astros to be up 3-2 come that time, going back to Houston.
I disagree. Zach, I really believe that Atlanta has not lost a single home game at all in this postseason at home. Zach, Brian Snitker and the crew are going to come out. What is it, Friday? They're going to come out Friday with a game plan. They're going to execute well because, Zach, once again, the Astros are without any other really good starters, and we know who knows what Zach Greinke you're going to get. I think that Atlanta goes home, wins. I see it being 2-2 going back to Houston.
I mean, listen, I think that for a team like losing Charlie Morton's huge, and you're going to see that later in this series. The middle and back end of the rotation has not been good at all or consistent. It's been Max Fried, it's been Charlie Morton, it's been Anderson, but that's about it.
And if you do a bullpen game,
once you get to that back end, it's dangerous.
If you can do a bullpen game,
trust the Astros a little more.
If you can do a bullpen game when you're up, they actually have a decent enough bullpen actually to contend. But it depends on what the other side is throwing at them that day.
Yeah, it depends. But listen, bottom line is this Astros team has some veterans on it. Jock Peterson has experience, especially against this team a couple years ago with LA. The bottom line is that both clubs have ways to climb. Neither one showing too much that they can be that dominant over the other one for consistency, considering that both teams looked polarity was just completely different. One game, Astros horrible. Brave look great, and then vice versa last night. So, with that being said, that about does it for us. That covers the basis of sports. The Flyers are 3-1-1 to start the season. Is why I do have to shout them out because they did beat the undefeated Oilers last night. They're on a Canadian road trip right now. They started in Edmonton. They're in Vancouver tonight at 10, and then they go to Calgary for Saturday's game before they return home. I mean, Gavin, this is quite interesting. I mean, this is all how it all goes. Looking forward to seeing if they can do something as well. We know the Flyers last year did not have a good showing after being the 1 seed. There's some pieces that need to be put together. Maybe a normal year, but bottom line is they're still well out of first place in the division. The division's good. The entire division is good. They have 7 points, 11 points as the Capitals, 10 as the Hurricanes, and yeah, they got a ways to go.
Ways to go indeed. Last night was a huge win if you ask Flyers fans, but there's a long way to go, Zach. It's a long hockey season. And it's back on ESPN, so I have no excuses why I'm not watching. So I gotta check it out a little bit more.
Well, listen, with that being said, everybody, I want to thank you all for joining us today on the More Than Philly Sports Network. Gavin, Penn State, Ohio State this weekend. Who are you taking?
Ohio State. Look, Zach.
Extend that losing streak to 4 years or 5 years, I believe.
It's over. It's over. It's over for Penn State. And Zach, if I can, before we go off there, I just want to give a congratulations to Paige Beckers for headlining the all preseason All American team alongside Aaliyah Boston, Caitlin Clark, Ryan Howard, and Nasir Smith.
Ready? Listen to that. He's ready. It is almost time for basketball again at the college level, men's and women's. It's going to be an exciting one. Thank you, everybody. We'll continue to cover it. March Madness will be here before we know it. Yeah, it's only November. I'm sorry to spoil it, but 4 months flies by. 4 months ago, Gavin, we were at your grad party. So 4 months flies by.
How was the food? How was the food?
It was amazing. We're overdue for a
I'm still waiting for that. I'm waiting for the Harrison. I'm waiting for the Harrison and Zach cook-off. I'm waiting for it.
I'm ready for it. The smoker's ready. We got to find a nice day in one of these coming weeks when the Eagles aren't playing. So with that being said, everybody, we'll give you results from that cook-off whenever it is. But I want to thank you all for joining us today. We hope you all have a great evening. Cardinals and Packers get underway in an hour. Sixers get underway momentarily. Thank you again, everybody. Enjoy your night. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your Halloween. Stay safe out there. Let's go Eagles. Let's go Sixers. Let's go Flyers.
Let's go Detroit. That's what you said. And Harrison, you heard that? He wants it. He wants.
I'm not rooting for Detroit, but yeah,
he wants
ribs and wings. Ribs and wings in the smoker.
Wings in the smoker. Have a good one, everybody.
We'll see you all. See you all next week. Have a good one.
Have a good one.
If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't. In addition, hit that bell icon and set it to all to get reminded of when we go live and when we post excerpts of our videos. Again, thanks for watching.